But let's kind of move on to the program. One of the things that I kind of wanted to do today to maybe round out the way we approach things in the C.A.N program is that we aren't the only organization, we Coast Guard, that has a requirement for information collection. And we have a lot of the shoreline here. I got a statistic, and somebody else said they'd heard it too, that Clallam County has the longest shoreline of any county in the United States. Now, if that's really true, that's pretty impressive, and I've heard it a couple of times, so I think it just might be. But what's that really say to us with the population base that we have in the county, which, as I recall, in the entire peninsula, we're like maybe 88,000 people or something. So we have a lot of shoreline that doesn't really get a lot of eyes on it, and it's pretty vulnerable. And for those of you who live out on Freshwater Bay, you know, there's a lot of reports about a lot of strange activity out there. And I know that we may be joined in our ranks by a woman who works for the County Emergency Management System, and she lives out in the CQ Clallam Bay area. And she said that when she drives home at night, she sees a lot of strange stuff out there. And so it'd be nice to have her join us. But there is a lot of activity out there. And in talking to the Customs and Border Protection people, what I learned is that they have a similar interest in as the C.A.N program, the lack of eyes on the water. So what I mentioned to them, and this is just unofficial at this point, but the idea would be if they have some things that would be of interest to them, could they brief our group on things that they would say, hey, here's some suspicious things to look for. And because we're in the Coast Guard side, if we collect that information, report it to the Coast Guard, and then let the Coast Guard and the CBP people work out the interrelations of how it gets transferred to them, then we can say that's their problem to work that out. Our problem is put the eyes on the water. So I've asked them to join us today to talk a little bit about some of their informational requirements, some of the suspicious activity, hence why I put this piece of paper together as just some hints to get you thinking about it, and then I'll let them explain the program. So now I'd like to turn it over to our Border Protection group.
Good morning. My name is Jason Carroll, and I'm the Assistant Patrol Agent in charge for the Port Angeles Border Patrol Station. Similar title. I'm like an executive officer or a deputy commander for the Border Patrol for the Olympic Peninsula. Been here about 12 months. I transferred here from Washington, D.C. And I'll give you some brief background on me. But first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for volunteering your time. It's Saturday. It's you all have things to do, and it's the turnout here is, I'm amazed. You just volunteer your time to come out and learn more about what you can do for your country on your own time. I just want to applaud you for that. I've been working for the government since I was about 19. I joined the military, and I served about 6 years in the military. I was an infantryman and a scout sniper in the Army, and so serving my country and doing what I can for my country has been a quest of mine my whole life. So I served in the military. I got out in Fort Lewis. Met a girl in Tacoma, got married, and joined the Border Patrol soon after. And I went to Yuma, Arizona, and I served on the southwest border in one of the most active Border Patrol areas that existed at the time. I was there for approximately 8 years. During my term there, I served also as a search and rescue commander. The Border Patrol has a very robust search and rescue force on the southwest border due to some treaties we have in Mexico to ensure the safety of personnel and illegal entrants coming across the border. So I did that for quite a while. Moved to Washington, D.C. I was asked to come up there and be the deputy commander for search and rescue for Border Patrol for the whole country. And I went to Washington, D.C. and met a lot of folks there. Ultimately, I went to work for the Commissioner's Office. It was called the Office of Anti-Terrorism. That opened my eyes. I'm just getting over that. Been here 12 months. That opened my eyes to a lot of things that go on around this country. And so did that for about 2 years. While I was there, my boss came to Seattle on a detail. He had to come out here and do some education process for I believe it was a doctorate program he was working on. As part of that, he was forced to sit down in front of Mr. Bilodeau for a few hours. Mr. Bilodeau gave him a presentation of the Citizens Action Network, C.A.N. He comes back and he tells me, look, here's a plane ticket, get on a plane, you need to go out there and you need to sit down and you need to see what they're doing. This is great stuff. So I flew to Seattle with a companion of mine, and we sat down in front of Mr. Bilodeau in Seattle, and I was blown away at the things you were doing out here, and that you're building a network that is two-way, that they're calling you, you're providing information, and you're getting feedback. So it's without that feedback, without that two-way communication, this doesn't work, and it will not proliferate itself. So that was awesome to see that. And I've compared this to very similarly to on the southwest border, we have sensor networks. They cost millions and millions of dollars. And these sensors, they let us know what's going on. You guys are much better than that. You can pick up and walk down and say, hey, I got a better view here. I can't move these cameras all day. So what you guys provide is above and beyond anything we can contract out and pay a gazillion dollars for and waste a lot of taxpayers' money. Living, breathing, intelligent folks that can look at a problem and analyze it and give feedback. So it's awesome, and I was blown away that this has not proliferated across the entire country, and just the fact now that it's been recognized as a best business practice, I'm very happy about that. When I got back to Washington, D.C. after being briefed, everyone I talked to that was in the upper echelons of the Coast Guard, I tried to bring this program up to and ask them, hey, what's going on with this? How come it isn't larger? And I hope by doing that, we were able to help you, Mr. Bilodeau, and help you guys get this program to be more expansive. People at the highest levels within the Department of Homeland Security are aware of this program, and they see its value, and I see its value. The Border Patrol's kind of had a much larger play and image on the peninsula than it used to. We've been here for a long time, and Mr. Dyer will give you an in-depth briefing on some of the history of Border Patrol and some of our mission. I'll try to keep it short, but there's a lot of stereotypes about the Border Patrol and a lot of misinformation. And that's one reason that I appreciate you, Mr. Hulse, for asking us to come here and give you guys a briefing on what we are, what we do, what our mission is, giving us an opportunity to give you the facts. So that's one reason we're here today. And we're open to any questions you may have. We'll be here for most of the day. As a part of the Department of Homeland Security, all the different components that are working here on the peninsula, you have the Coast Guard, you have Immigration and Customs Enforcement, you have the Border Patrol, you have the Office of Air and Marine, and the Office of Field Operations, which manages the ports of entry. There are so few of us out here that if we don't work together, we can't get this done. And if we don't work with you as a community, we can't get this done. Our job, like I believe you were talking about the largest coastline of any county in the United States. I think we have, what, 183 miles of coastline on the peninsula?
Just on the northern shore.
Like 37 marinas. I believe 2 of those have law enforcement personnel at them full-time. It's a daunting task. And without the citizenry, we can't do it. There's just no way. And it's you would have armies of Border Patrol agents and people in boats trying to accomplish this task. So we need to leverage you guys as a community for information to accomplish this. So that collaboration, that cooperation, it's consistently being developed. The Department of Homeland Security is a very new organization, and we're busting down a lot of walls to try and get there. So it's going to take a few more years to get things to the level where I think everybody is happy with, but we're working towards it. And I wanted to share one example of some information we gained from the public that helped us pursue a smuggling case out near Murdoch Beach. We received a call from a concerned citizen that was seeing some weird activity occurring along a beach where boats usually are not. People running back and forth from this boat, and there was some vehicular traffic that came in there. And this information was relayed to us. We started looking into it, made some contact with some folks, identified 3 illegal Canadian citizens who had came across the Strait of Juan de Fuca illegally, did not report themselves to a port of entry or make a phone call to let anyone know they were coming. They had recently purchased a boat, which was stuck out there as the tide went out. There was a rental vehicle involved. So all of these things, when we put them all together, we picked these 3 folks up, arrested them under immigration charges because they had failed to report. Took them in, processed them, got all of our sister components within DHS together and said, okay, let's look at this, let's analyze what's going on here, and let's pursue this investigation. Well, that single phone call, that suspicious